I'm so glad you're here whenever and wherever here is for you today. I'm glad you are practicing. I should mention you might want a little bit of a prop today, something that you can, maybe it's the edge of a door or a rolled up towel or blanket or a little bit of cushion. You can even use a book or a block, just, something a little handy. You can also use your mat, and I'll let you know about that. And in the meantime, if you are using the music, it's dated 04/25/2020. So it's today's date, but the year is 2020. Go ahead and start your music. It's going to start that self-portrait in 3 colors. And so then when you're ready, I'm going to suggest that you start at the top of your mat. So standing or seated. If you're going to stay seated in a chair the whole practice, then that's where you are. Everyone else, go ahead and stand up and rock forward and back a little bit. Rock side to side, maybe rock around in a circle a little bit in one direction and then the other direction. Maybe bend your knees and extend your thighs. And then find that place where you're right in the middle of all of that movement, finding the balance within the imbalance, and come into Namaste, equal standing. Toes straight ahead, heels straight back. Kneecaps lifted, thighs are firm. You bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your back. Brush the hand and back down to lengthen through your low back, sit bones down, pubic bone up. Let your arms relax by your side. Squeeze your perineum muscles together like you're trying not to go to the bathroom. Belly button up and back. Or if you're pregnant, visualize a zipper that runs down your sacrum, through your pelvic floor, up to your belly button. So Namaste, equal standing. You can stay here. You can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, or bring both hands together at your heart center. Either way, close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And let's set a group intention. May all of us together be protected. May all of us together be nourished. May we work together with great energy. May our study together be brilliant and effective. May we not hate or dispute with one another. May there be peace within us, peace all around us, peace to and from everything and everyone we encounter. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep open mouth sigh. Deep breath in through your nose. Deep sigh out. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Open your mouth and sigh it out. And then as you inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose, turn your Namaste, your equal standing, into Ella's pose. All you have to do is relax your arms down, and then from the collarbones, rotate your palms forward as if you're going to lift up in song. Lift your heart up, shoulders down your back, bring your wrists slightly in front of your hips. Of course, Ella Fitzgerald, who was born today in 1917, didn't start off this way on November 21st, 1934, when she was standing on the stage at the Apollo. I mean, she was shy, reserved, self-conscious, 17-year-old orphan with a reportedly disheveled appearance. She wasn't yet the legendary scat artist that she would become. She hadn't recorded a single song, let alone over 200 albums. She hadn't performed at Carnegie Hall once, let alone 26 times. In fact, the woman who would eventually become known for her ability to mimic any horn in the orchestra wasn't even planning to sing. She was planning to dance. But just before her, on that Apollo amateur night of November 21st, 1934, the Edwards sisters, Ruth and Louise, performed, and they danced. Ella Fitzgerald said they were the dancing sisters around. And this was a problem because they were the main event. They were a crowd favorite. And the Apollo audience is known, even to this day, for being very vocal and very critical. So Ella had to figure out what to do. And she froze. And she asked herself, those kind of mentally asked herself those questions we all ask. What does it mean to be fearless? What does it mean to show up without fear? And she started to sing. She started to do the thing that used to bring her mother so much joy before her mother passed. She lifted her heart up. She lifted her voice up. And she went deeper. On your next inhale, begin your Ujjayi pranayama, breath of victory. Bring a slight constriction to the back of your throat as you inhale through your nose. Maintaining that constriction as you exhale through your nose, creating an audible and expansive breath, an oceanic and heat building breath, a detoxifying breath, a breath that allows you to be fearless. Because remember, fear is the emotional response to a perceived threat. You can feel it even when it turns out that the threat isn't real, but the fear is real. And so being fearless isn't about showing up when there is no fear. It's not the absence of fear that makes one fearless. It's the being in the midst of that fear. As we move through this practice, I'm going to encourage you to be fearless and play. Because when I think about being fearless, I think about jazz, and I think about comedy. I think about improv. I think about saying yes, 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 and not blocking the flow. Next time you inhale, you can bring your hands back to heart center, or one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, maybe switching which hand is in front. Close your eyes again if that's comfortable for you, and bring your awareness to your goal, your desire, your reason for being on the mat today. First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt said that you should do something that scares you at least once every day. Do the thing you think you cannot do. So what's the thing you want to do, but you're not sure you can do? And then hush down that fear, that hesitation, that doubt, and bring your awareness to someone other than yourself, someone you'd like to energetically support as we move through this practice. Maybe it's someone who is one of your precious jewels, one of your master teachers, one of those people who's always saying you can't, when you know in your heart that you can. And offer up your efforts as a loving and compassionate dedication. Let's unify the breath. Exhale all your air out. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Open your mouth and sigh it out. And then resume your ujjayi. Breathe in through your nose with that slight constriction at the back of your throat. Exhale through your nose. Fill up as you inhale. Empty out completely as you exhale. As you inhale, blink your eyes open. As you exhale, relax your arms down. And so this is where you're going to need that prop that I mentioned. You can put it in front of you, or if you're going to use a wall, face the wall. You can roll up your mat a little bit, put the block in front of you. Either way, you're going to step away from it a little bit. And then step your right foot forward as you inhale and point your toes up, heels down. So you're bracing the sole or the ball mound of your foot up against your prop. You might find if balance is a little tricky that you need to step your feet a little bit wider left to right, or step that left foot further back. Either way, spread your toes, squeeze your perineum muscles together, belly button up and back. Take a deep breath in, hands at your hips. As you exhale, lift your pubic bone up, shoulders down your back. Take a deep breath in, press down, lift up. And as you exhale, start to lean forward a little bit. Maybe you go all the way down into that position that feels like a half lift flat back with your legs split. So it almost feels like a pyramid pose. Push through your heels, reach your sit bones back. So you're not only getting into the sole of your right foot, getting into the back of your shins, back of your calves, but also getting into your hips and your low back a little bit here. As then next time you exhale, engage your core. Lift your heart up as you inhale. As you exhale, relax your arms down, step your right foot back, and take a moment to shake it off a little bit. You know, in the liner notes for her album, Fearless, Taylor Swift said, to me, fearless is having fears. Fearless is having doubts, lots of them. To me, fearless is living in spite of those things that scare you to death. Take a moment to step your right foot forward as you inhale, right toes up. Press your right heel down, left heel. Then we're going to go to the other side. So again, maybe you step your right leg back a little bit. Maybe you step your feet left to right a little wider. But either way, find your balance. Keep those right toes straight ahead with your left toes up. Hands to your hips, press down, lift up. Exhale, pubic bone up, shoulders down your back. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, start to lean forward. Again, reach your ribs away from your hips. Press your hips and your left heel away from each other. Keep spiraling your thighs in and notice how that feels. And notice what happens as you drive your heels down. Really get grounded there. Take one more inhale, just like this. One more exhale, just like this. And then next time you exhale, engage your core. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, relax your arms down, step your left leg back. And then come back to the front of your mat, moving your props out of the way as you need to, as you like to. Hands at your hips as you inhale, lift your heart up. As you exhale, find a little baby back bend here. So notice how it feels when your spine is long. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, flex and fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, hands to your thighs or bend your elbows and knees and put your elbows on your thighs. Either way, as you inhale, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. As you exhale, press your shoulders to your hips. Even if you have to bend your knees here, as you inhale, find a little bit of cow pose. So the heart's forward, gaze is forward. As you exhale, zip up again. Spread your toes, squeeze your perineum muscles together, belly button up and back, or close that funky zipper that runs down your sacrum through your pelvic floor up to your belly button. And those liner notes for Fearless. Taylor Swift wrote, Fearless is falling madly in love again, even though you've been hurt before. Fearless is walking into your freshman year of high school at 15. Fearless is getting back up and fighting for what you want over and over again, even though every time you've tried before, you've lost. It's fearless to have faith that someday things will change. Take a moment as you exhale to bend your knees, bring your elbows in between your thighs. So you're going to press your arms into your legs into your arms. Keep your spine long, and just a little flossing here as you inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, flex, bend your knees. Inhale, extend, keeping your heels on the mat. Exhale, flex. So make sure you're using the whole inhale as you find your rhythm, your whole exhale. So you're not bouncing, but rather flossing, getting full extension, and then as much flexion as you are able to get with the heels still on the mat. If your hips are really tight, your hamstrings are really tight, you could continue with the flossing, or you could inhale to a half lift, flat back, and hold. You can also hold that half lift if you have low back issues, unregulated blood pressure, or eye issues like glaucoma. Everyone else, next time you inhale to your half lift, flat back, as you exhale, fold forward. You can bend your knees to release your low back, or release the back of your legs, your hips and thighs, or you could take any variation of Uttanasana that you like, taking ragdoll, grabbing opposite bicep with opposite hand. You can take chest expansion, interlacing your hands behind your back, or wrap your arms around your legs. Classic Uttanasana is to press your hands into the floor or a prop, extend through your spine as you also extend through your legs. So be mindful of your back, right? If you bring your heart all the way to your thighs, there might be a little flexion. There will be a little flexion in your spine. But before you get there, you want to keep as much extension as possible. Take one more inhale, just like this. One more exhale, just like this. And then next time you exhale, release your bind, inhale to your half lift. Exhale, hands to your hips, core engages, pressing down as you inhale, lift your whole body up. As you exhale, relax your arms down. And take a moment again and notice how you feel. Notice what's shifted, notice what's changed. As you inhale, stretch your arms out and up. As you exhale, walk to the back of your mat, hands come through heart center. Take a moment to remember your intention, remember your dedication. And then as you inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath. Bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. As you exhale, you can walk your hands forward into high plank or table, or you can kneel down into a child's pose or puppy dog. Tabletops and high planks. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press your shoulders back. Rotate your elbows towards your knees. Gaze is forward. Kneecaps are lifted unless they're all the way down on the mat. So quadriceps are engaged unless the hamstrings are engaged. As you inhale, glide forward. Exhale, puppy dog, lower all the way down to your belly. Prenatal variations are going to be cow pose, sphinx with a little cushion on your hips and thighs, Tadasana on your knees or your sit bones, or high plank. Everyone else, as you inhale, lift your heart up dog, cobra, cow, Tadasana, high plank, or sphinx, and hold. So wherever you are, find that little bit of Ellis pose where you're opening up through your collarbones, opening up through your heart, lifting your heart up, opening up your throat. Relax your shoulders down your back. And then maybe you just take a moment to embody that moment where you embody Ella Fitzgerald's mother when Ella starts to sing. Remember, she brought her mother joy with the songs. So as you inhale, lift the corners of your mouth up towards your ears. And as you exhale, relax your jaw. Just loosen up a little bit. Even when you got plenty of nothing, you can have your smile, and that could change your perspective on things. Allow you to show up and say yes. And next time you exhale, press back to tabletop, or if you're skipping the arm balancing, make your way into your standing forward fold. Inhale to cow pose or half lift. Exhale, downward facing dog, or you can bring your forearms down, cross your arms, make sure you can grab opposite bicep with opposite hand, and then bring the wrists out in front and lift your hips up into your dolphin dog. Or come into that standing forward fold if you're skipping the arm balancing. Downward facing dog. This is your first Adho Mukha Svanasana. So take a moment to check your asana, check your seat. For this pose, it's your hands and feet. You want to make sure your fingers are spread wide, middle fingers point forward, joints in the thumb and first finger pressed into the mat. As you relax your head and shoulders, take a moment to make sure your big toes are parallel to each other. Big toes behind your thumbs or behind your middle fingers. Dolphin dogs, you want big toes behind your elbows. Even in a standing forward fold, you could separate your legs here. Press your spine to your thighs, thigh bumps to the wall behind you. Hips high, heels low. As you exhale, bend your knees a little bit. Inhale, extend through your spine. As you exhale, rotate the pointy part of your elbows towards your big toes and a little closer to your nose. Make sure your head is hanging down. Take a moment to scan your body. Maybe express a little gratitude for the sensation, the information that informs your practice. Even those places where you're holding on to tension, discomfort, dis-ease, those places where you're tightening up because you have a little fear. Take a moment to express gratitude for that awareness and then start to move, start to loosen up, start to open up to the possibilities. You can bend your knees one at a time or at the same time, lift one leg high and then the other, or lift up an arm. You come back to your knees, you can add a twist, but whatever you do on one side, do something similar or complementary on the other side. Sometimes people experience fear because they just get too darn hot, like emotionally speaking. So you got to figure out how to cool down. Maybe you just sigh out for a moment. Maybe you very deliberately breathe in and very deliberately breathe out. On your next exhale, find stillness. As you inhale, nod your head yes to showing up, being who you are and all that you are, all the different sides of you. As you exhale, shake your head no to ignoring the possibility that there's nothing to fear but fear itself. And as you inhale, nod your head yes to the joy of being fearless. As you inhale, look up and lengthen. As you exhale, bend your knees, step or float your feet to the outside of your hands, come into a yogi prayer squat down low or a horse goddess pose up high. And then bring your hands together, heart center. So squatting is a good way to get into the fascia at the back of your feet, but also a good way to strengthen your ankles and also to get into your shins and your calves. So pressing your palms together, spread your fingers wide, and in the same way, press your feet down and spread your toes wide. Elbows and knees press away, pubic bone and heart lift up, shoulders and sit bones drop down. If you want to lengthen through your low back, you could turn this into a hallelujah asana when you're in yogi prayer squat. Lift your arms overhead, shoulders down your back. But if you're really focusing on the hips and on the quad, on your calves, take a moment to see if you can bring your toes a little more forward. And keep your sit bones down as you lift your heart up. Relax your jaw. Notice how that feels. Maybe you can keep wiggling the toes a little bit more forward. Maybe that means you have to take the feet a little bit wider apart. Just take a moment to notice how that feels. Toes straight ahead, or toes starting to move straight ahead. And just be here for a moment and breathe here for a moment. And you might think it's weird for me to talk about Taylor Swift when I'm telling the story of Ella Fitzgerald, but South African former president Nelson Mandela also said that being fearless is not the absence of fear. Take one more inhale. So if it's not about there being less fear, again, what is it about? Well, again, I go back to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, Ashley Graham, Thich Nhat Hanh. They all agreed that the most important part of being fearless is being, and in some cases, doing, moving, playing. Next time you exhale, fold forward, toes straight ahead. Inhale to your half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lifts. Exhale, hands come through, heart center. Moving into Surya Namaskar A, as you inhale, stretch up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath. Bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, right leg steps back, low lunge. Take a deep breath in to extend. Exhale, left hip back, shoulders relax. Squeeze your thighs together as you inhale. Exhale, zip up, engage your core. Spread your toes, squeeze your perineum muscles together, belly button up and back. Or close the funky zipper, but do that voodoo, that little voodoo that you do so well, letting the lower body support the upper body. So weight comes out of your fingertips, a little heaviness comes out of your heart. It's really all science and physics. Same thing as voodoo. Take a moment to really reach that right heel back, even if you modified and brought the right knee down. And notice how that right foot feels. Notice how that right calf feels, how the shin feels. Last inhale here. Exhale, hands to the mat, downward facing dog, puppy dog, or come into your standing forward fold. Inhale, high plank, cow pose, or half lift. Exhale, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold forward. Inhale, lift your heart up dog, cobra, cow, tadasana, high plank or sphinx, and hold. So being fearless involves a certain amount of play, a certain amount of experimentation. Don't get me wrong, it's not about being reckless. It's about improvising. It's about knowing the rules in order to break the rules, but break them mindfully. Next time you exhale, you can press back to tabletop, lower all the way down or fold forward. Inhale, high plank, cow pose, or half lift. Exhale, downward facing dog, dolphin dog, or come into your standing forward fold. It's a little bit about bending the rules a little bit. It's about, to quote Taylor Swift again, making the moves up as you go, or to paraphrase. As you inhale, stretch back. Exhale, walk your hands to your feet or bring your hands and feet together. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lifts. Exhale, walk to the front of the mat, hands come through heart center. Take a deep breath in, stretch up. Exhale, swan dive, taking your whole breath, bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, left leg steps back, low lunge. Take a deep breath in to extend. Exhale, right hip back, shoulders relax. Squeeze your thighs together as you inhale. As you exhale, zip up, engage your core. Take a moment to let the lower body support the upper body and then bring awareness to that back leg, that back heel. Really reach that back heel back, spreading the toes wide, engaging the quadriceps if that left kneecap is lifted so the thigh is firm. And relax your jaw, right? Clenching up your jaw, that's a good sign that there's a little bit of fear. Maybe you're afraid you're going to fall over here, but you got this. Take one more inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat, downward facing dog, puppy dog, or come into your standing forward fold. Inhale, high plank, cow pose, or half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold forward. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, downward facing dog, take the extra push up or fold forward. Eyes on your nose, your belly button, or the space between your toes. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. In Iyengar yoga, which, people like Sandra Razielli and Matthew Sanford teach, sometimes you use a lot of props. There's a lot of props in Iyengar yoga. So sometimes for downward facing dog, you might put props underneath your head just to allow a little bit more length through the neck, or you could put props underneath your heels, but we'll get to that. Downward facing dogs and dolphin dogs, you always have the option to stretch back, walk back, meet us in the lunge, or next time you inhale, get stability on your left side. As you exhale, bend your right knee, right heel to the hip. Inhale, lift your heel, lift your gaze. Three-legged down dog, step your right foot forward. Half lift, step your left leg back. Take a deep breath in to extend. As you exhale, heel toe your right foot to the right, rotate your left heel down. Inhale your arms overhead, warrior one. If you're manually adjusting your hips, let your hands melt down. Either way, squeeze your thighs together as you inhale. Exhale, right hip back, left hip forward. If that feels wonky or off balance, adjust your feet. Press into your back foot as you inhale. Lift your pubic bone up. Exhale, spiral your thighs in towards each other. Full body stretch, press down, lift up as you inhale. Exhale, right knee forward, left heel back. And again, notice what's happening at the back of your left leg, especially in your lower leg. And then inhale, rise up to the ball of your left foot. Exhale, blossom open into warrior two. So arms stretch out over your legs, adjust your feet so right toes are still your front toes, pointing straight ahead. Right heel lines up with the middle of your left foot. Left heel is down now, so the left foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat or slightly turned forward. As you inhale, get stability in your left foot, left kneecap is lifted, left thigh is firm. Notice you've changed the dynamic in the back of your right leg. And as you exhale, stretch your right knee forward. Notice you've changed the dynamic in your hips and your low back as well as in your shoulders. Next time you inhale, straighten your right leg. As you exhale, reach until you find your limit. You can either inhale, right arm down, left arm up for triangle pose, or for upward facing triangle, keep your heart open to the left and lift your right arm up, left arm down. Either way, as you exhale, rotate your sit bones down, squeeze your thighs together as you inhale. As you exhale, zip up, engage your core. Inhale, extend your spine, pressing the left side of your ribcage towards your right arm and rotate your heart up. If you're reaching the right arm down, you might engage your core. Inhale, lift your heart up halfway, and then exhale, stretch back down. Another option, no matter which variation you're in, is to lift the ball of your right foot up so the right toes go up in the air as you inhale. Exhale, spread the toes wide and then seal them back in. And yes, that's a little bit of a balance challenge too. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, engage your core. Inhale, lift your heart up. Listen, as you exhale, hands to your hips, adjust your feet so the left toes turn straight ahead, right foot moves over to the right. So you're going back into the internal rotation for your hips and thighs. You can stretch your arms overhead if you know you're going to need a little stability, or as you exhale, you can bring your hands behind your back for reverse namaskar for a little extra for your neck and shoulders. You can bring palms together behind your back with the fingertips pointed towards your head, or maybe just the fingertips touch, or maybe you put a prop between your hands. Another modification is just to cross your arms at your low back. Either way, everyone roll your shoulders down and back, keeping your right leg straight. Press through your heel as you lift your heart up. As you exhale, fold forward into your pyramid pose. Keep pressing that right hip back, left hip forward. Adjust as you need to so you have balance here. If you want, you could bring your hands down on either side of your right leg and then inhale, lift the ball of your right foot up. Drive the right heel down as you spread your toes. Maybe even bring that left hand to the top of your right toes. This is another place where a prop comes in handy sometimes. Take one more inhale. If you lifted your right foot up a little bit, the sole of your right foot up, as you exhale, bring your right foot down, bend your right knee, shoulders down your back. And then prenatal variation is going to be an extended side angle opening to the left, so left arm lifts up. Everyone else, bring your left hand to the inside or the outside of your right foot. As you inhale, bring your right hand to your right thigh. And as you exhale, rotate your heart to the right in that revolving extended side angle. Keep your left heel down, even if you have to adjust your left foot. Yep, so you're getting into your hips a little bit more here. Right hand can stay at your thigh or come behind your back, or lift the right arm up for your revolving extended side angle. Either way, reach through the elbows. Say yes to opening your heart up to new possibilities, even if they scare you a little bit. And I think about being fearless. I think about facing the obstacle that is your own self, because sometimes we get in our own way. And knowing that today is not a good day for self-defeat. It's just not. Like, no day is a good day for self-defeat, but especially today. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, everyone, bring your hands down. Inhale to your half lift. Left foot comes up to meet the right. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms lift, heart lifts. Exhale, hands come through heart center at the front of your mat. Take a deep breath in, stretch up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath. Bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, right leg steps back, low lunge. Take a deep breath in to extend. Exhale, downward facing dog, puppy dog, or come into your standing forward fold. Inhale, high plank, cow pose, or half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take the extra push up or fold forward. Eyes on your nose, your belly button, or the space between your toes. Take a moment to notice what's shifted, what's changed, what's different on the right compared to the left. Like, you've done work on both sides, but we really focused on lengthening through the right backside. Balancing out as you inhale, get stability on your right side. As you exhale, bend your left knee, left heel to the hip. Inhale, lift your heel, lift your gaze. Three-legged down dog, step your left foot forward. Half lift, step your right leg back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, heel toe your left foot to the left, rotate your right heel down. Inhale your arms overhead, Virabhadrasana 1. If you're manually adjusting your hips, let your hands melt down. Either way, squeeze your thighs together as you inhale. Exhale, left hip back, right hip forward. Press into your back foot as you inhale, lift your pubic bone up. Exhale, spiral your thighs towards each other. Full body stretch, press down, lift up as you inhale. Exhale, left knee forward, right heel back, and notice how the back of the right leg feels, especially the heel and the calf. Notice even the shin. Make sure you're spreading your toes wide, right? Sometimes our ankles get really stiff because we're not engaging all the muscles of the feet. So if you spread your big toe, little toe away, activating that abductor, the abductors of your feet, especially that digi-T mini-me, you can start to lift your arch up, engage your ankles a little bit more. Take one more inhale, one more exhale. And the next time you inhale, come up to the ball of your right foot. Exhale, blossom open into Virabhadrasana 2. So when you bring your right heel down, you want left toe straight ahead, left heel lining up with the middle of your right foot parallel to the short edge of your mat or slightly turned forward. With your arms over your legs, as you inhale, put weight on your right foot, right kneecap is lifted, right thigh is firm. And again, notice the change in the dynamic, not only in the back of the right leg, but also in the front of the right hip and thigh. Shoulders down your back. Next time you inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, reach until you find your limit. You can either inhale your left arm down, right arm up for Trikonasana, or keeping your heart open to the right, lift your left arm up, right arm down. Either way, as you exhale, rotate your sit bones down, squeeze your thighs together as you inhale. As you exhale, zip up, engage your core, extend your spine as you inhale, pressing the right side of your ribcage towards your left arm, and rotate your heart up, shoulders down your back. So it's kind of important not to put all your eggs in one basket, to know, like, what's your skill set? What are you naturally good at? What is your personality lean towards that? But also, what skills, what personality traits have you cultivated? Like, sometimes we need a plan A, but also a plan B and C. And when we get to plan C, it's not that it's less than plan A, because if it works, it's actually better than plan A. Remember, if you're reaching your left hand down, you can always engage your core, lift your heart up a little bit as you inhale, and then exhale, lower back down, stretching back down. You can also lift the ball of your right foot up, or left foot up, no matter which variation you're in, and then exhale, spread the toes and seal them back in. Shoulders down your back. Take one more inhale, one more exhale. And then next time you exhale, engage your core, lift your heart up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Listen, you're turning your whole torso forward, so you need to adjust your feet. Move your left foot over to the left a little bit. Maybe step the right foot up, but definitely turn the right toes forward. Find that place where that left hip is reaching back, right hip reaching forward. You can inhale your arms overhead or exhale your hands behind your back into any variation of reverse namaskar that you like. Either way, left leg is straight. As you inhale, lift your heart up, pressing the left heel and hip away from each other. As you exhale, fold forward into your parsvottanasana. Find that place where the right side of your torso is rotating down, but not collapsing down. Keep pressing your left heel and hip away from each other. Remember, you always have the option of bringing your hands down on either side of your left leg, lifting the left toes up, ball of your left foot up as you inhale, driving the left heel down. You can even bring your right hand to your left toes or use a prop to encourage that extension through the back of your left leg. So I mentioned before that Ella Fitzgerald refused to dance after the Edwards sisters. So she started singing. And she sang one of her mother's favorite songs right there on the Apollo stage on that amateur night. And the crowd loved her. Take one more inhale. Everyone, as you exhale, left foot comes down, bend your left knee with both hands down. Prenatal variation is to open back up into that externally rotated hips and thighs for Parsvottanasana. Everyone else setting up for Pavarita Parsvottanasana, Right hand is inside or outside of your left foot on the floor or prop. Left hand comes to your left thigh. So you press down to lift up. Just give yourself that little bit of an assist. As you exhale, rotate your heart to the left. Left hand can stay at your hip or bring your left arm up or behind your back. But either way, keep the right heel down and press through the heels as you lengthen through your spine. I mean, how could she dance after the dancing of sisters around? Those Chicago sisters, Ruth and Louise Edwards. Take one more inhale, just like this. One more exhale, just like this. And then next time you exhale, left hand down, or both hands down. Inhale to your half lift, right foot comes up to meet the left. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lifts. Exhale, hands come through heart center. So we're going to go into a little bit of a balance. If you want to focus on what's working and what's extending, what's lengthening during the balance, instead of the actual balance, you can always sit down in a chair, like an actual physical chair. Everyone else, even if you step off your mat, you're going to come into Utkatasana chair pose. So lift your hips, lift or sink your hips, lift your heart, relax your shoulders. Take a moment to make sure your toes are straight ahead, heels straight back. If there's space between your ankles, you want that same space between your knees. And then spread your toes and bring your knees over your ankles so your hips reach back. Squeeze your perineum muscles together, belly button up and back, and find an upper body cow pose, or close that funky zipper and find an upper body cow pose. So if you wanted to, you could face a wall and make sure the wall is about a leg length away from you. Everyone else, when you're ready. So you have time to step to the wall if you want to. And come into your chair pose. Make sure you're a leg length away, so don't get too close. And then from your chair pose, as you exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. As you inhale, come up to the ball of your right foot so the right heel is lifted. So yep, that's it. As you exhale, flex the right ankle so the right toes go up. So now the right foot's just hovering there. And then as you inhale, stretch that right leg straight out in front of you. If you measured out on the wall, you want your right foot up against the wall now. If you find you have to reset, you can always put your foot down, reset. Take yourself through the steps again. Coming into chair pose on the inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift the heel up. Exhale, flex the ankle, and then inhale, extend. And then push through that right heel, even if you're not using the wall. Push through that heel. If you are using the wall, maybe you lift your arms overhead just for the little extra challenge. So the left knee is bent. Right leg is extended as much as you're able. Push through your heels. See if you can squat down a little bit more. So you're working both ankles, both shins, both calves, but in different ways. And then listen, next time you inhale, come into your one-legged mountain pose. Right knee lifts up. As you exhale, bend your left knee and come into figure 4. Right ankle comes across your left thigh. Sinking down into the squat. Shoulders down your back. Take a deep breath in. You can stay upright. You could bring your hands to heart center to lower your center of gravity. You could bring your right hand to your right thigh, left hand to your right foot just to stabilize. Another option here is to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, fold forward and reach your hands towards the wall. Of course, if your arms are shorter than your legs, you may not reach there, but you can lean forward a little bit and reach out a little bit. No matter which variation you're in, reach your ribs away from your hips, press your hips away from your ribs, sink down into your squat. So getting into your back, getting into your hips, your glutes, getting into that left calf and shin. And then inhale back into your one-legged mountain pose, right knee lifts up. Exhale, give it a little squeeze, and then release it down. So just take a moment in your Samasthiti or in your Ella's pose to notice how the right side and the left side feels. Do you feel the work that you did? Take a moment to express a little gratitude because you did that. And then again, making sure you're about a leg's length away from the wall. If you're using the wall, inhale to Utkatasana chair pose, sink your hips, lift your heart. That's a good check. Take it deeper than you left it. Knees over ankles, shoulders over hips. Big awkward smile on your face because you're getting to play a little bit. As you exhale, hands to heart center. As you inhale, come up to the ball of your left foot. Exhale, flex your left ankle so the left toes come off the mat. Inhale, straighten your left leg, pressing the left foot up against the wall. So you might find you have to reset because it turns out that you moved a little bit, or maybe that your left leg is a different length than the right leg. And so you can reset. Inhale into Utkatasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift your left heel up. Exhale, flex the ankle. And then inhale, extend your left leg. So make sure you get your left leg as straight as possible. So push through that reel. You really use that closed chain engagement with the heel and the toes on the wall, if you're using the wall, to extend through that left leg and breathe. So that's the tighter side and you need to reset. Shake it off for a moment and then reset. And take a moment to consider that the squat, especially even if you're using the wall, requires a little bit of challenge, right? Don't be afraid of falling over here. Don't be afraid of resetting. Remember, you can always, if you're using the wall, lift your arms overhead for that extra bit of challenge. And then next time you inhale, come into your Ekapada Tadasana, left knee goes up. And then coming into figure 4, as you exhale, bend your right knee, externally rotate your left hip and thigh. So you bring your left ankle across your right thigh as you sit down. You can bring your hands to heart center to lower your center of gravity. You can bring left hand to your left thigh, right hand to your left foot to stabilize. Or maybe you want to get that extra extension through your low back and hips. So you inhale your heart up. And as you exhale, flex and fold, reaching your hands towards the wall, getting that little extra flexion through the wrist. It's funny, when you think about it, we have the same structure in our hands that we do in our feet. And yet we use our hands so much that they become a lot more flexible in most people than our feet. Our fingers do things that our toes don't do, even though our toes have the mechanisms to do the thing. Take a moment again to notice what's happening in your lower right ankle and shin, especially as you extend through your spine, getting into your low back and into your hips. It's a weird dichotomy, right? To think about the first lady of jazz, mama of jazz, Lady Ella, the queen of jazz, as shy and retiring, reserved. As you inhale, come into your Ekapada Tadasana, left knee lifts up. Exhale, give that left knee a little squeeze. And then release it down. So again, take a moment to notice what's shifted, notice what's changed, notice what you feel and how you feel. And then you can either turn away from the wall and come into downward facing dog with your heels up against the wall, or maybe you step onto your mat and you come into a downward facing dog with a prop behind you. But find that place where your ball mound of your foot is down and your heels are just a little lifted, but they're supported. You could do dolphin dog this way. If you normally skip the arm balancing, you might do a down dog on the wall with your hands on the wall, just in that half lift position, so that your hips, knees, and ankles are at 90 degrees, or at least your hips and your ankles are at 90 degrees. You just take a moment to step through here, and then take it a little wider. Take your arms further forward. You can also take your legs a little wider apart just to see how that feels, and press your spine to your thighs. Make sure your sit bones are up, right? Because if your sit bones are dropping down or they're just reaching back, you don't access the lower leg in the same way. So find that little bit of a back bend with your head down. And there it is. No wrinkle in your brow, right? No 11s between your eyebrows. Soften your jaw. And then take a deep breath in, stretch back. As you exhale, walk your hands to your feet or bring your hands and feet together. Inhale to your half, lift flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lifts. As you exhale, hands to heart center, step to the front of your mat and turn to the front of the mat. Take a deep breath in, stretch up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath. Bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, left leg steps back, low lunge. Take a deep breath in to extend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take the puppy dog or come into your standing forward fold. Inhale, high plank, cow pose or half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold. Inhale, lift your heart up dog, cobra, cow, tadasana, high plank or sphinx. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take the extra push-up or fold forward. Eyes on your nose, your belly button, or the space between your toes. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then however you want to get there, make your way to Dandasana staff pose. So you're sitting down with your legs stretched out in front of you. Press your hands down, hips down, heels down, all to lift your heart up. Flex your ankles, toes to the nose. We're just going to do a little more flossing. So as you inhale, extend through your ankles, pointing your toes away. Exhale, flex. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. Take one more full cycle. And the next time you exhale, bend your knees so your feet are flat on the floor. If your back is really tender, you can lie down on your back. Take the next round of flossing on your back as you set up for a supine forward fold. Everyone else, stretch your legs out in front of you. One more time. Exhale, flex your ankles, toes to the nose. Inhale, extend, although technically that's also flexion according to science. Exhale, flex the toes to the nose. Inhale, flex the toes away from the nose. And the next time you do that dorsiflexion where the toes come towards the nose. Inhale your arms overhead. If you're on your back, go ahead and bind off. As you exhale, flex and fold and then bind off. You can take all your fingers to all your toes, peace fingers to your big toes. You can hold onto your outer arches, ankles, or shins. You can use a strap to bridge the gap or a prop to extend the reach. Either way, maintaining your bind. As you inhale, look up and lengthen. As you exhale, press your thigh bones away from your body as much as you're able. Press your heels away. And then as you exhale, flex and fold. Of course, to get from that shy, retiring 17-year-old orphan in 1934 to how we know her, how we remember her today, Ella Fitzgerald had some help. She would be championed by musicians like Benny Carter and Chick Webb, who gave her one of her big shots. Composers like Ira Gershwin, who said, "I never knew how good our songs were until I heard Ella Fitzgerald sing them." Celebrities like Marilyn Monroe and Frank Sinatra challenged segregation laws and racial bias in their own ways on Ella's behalf. And then she was heralded by universities and heads of states. She was awarded the National Medal of Arts by Ronald Reagan, then President Ronald Reagan in 1987, and presented France's Commander of Arts and Letters Award in 1990. As you inhale, look up and lengthen. As you exhale, bend your knees into your armpits. If you want a final back bend other than bridge or wheel pose, take a moment to come into that seated position with your knees open, and you can do a little awakening there. Everyone else, go ahead and lower down to your back. Feet together like a prayer in your supine bound angle pose, knees open up like the pages of a book. And then everyone, as you inhale, rotate your right knee up. Exhale, rotate the right knee down. Inhale, left knee up. Exhale, rotate the left knee down. So just do each side at least one more time, maybe two more times, just to awaken the back. And it all started with that moment on the Apollo stage. That was the moment when she knew her heart could sing. Next time you exhale your left knee down. If you're coming into bridge or wheel pose, inhale both knees up, feet flat on the floor. If you're going into a different back bend, do what you do. Everyone else, you want an invisible orange under your chin, invisible grapefruit in between your thighs. As you inhale, use the strength of your legs to lift your hips up. As you exhale, shrug your shoulders under your back. You can take chest expansion here. You can use your hands or a prop to support your low back. If you're coming into full wheel pose, inhale your arms overhead. As you exhale, bend your elbows, fingertips under your elbows, shoulders, elbows squeeze in. Wheel poses as you inhale, come up to the crown of your head. As you exhale, get a nice firm grip. Inhale or exhale lifts you all the way up. If you're in bridge pose and you supported your low back, feel free to lift your legs up for a suspended bridge to get into your backside, which means you want to dorsiflex your ankles, pointing your toes to the nose, pressing your heels away from your body. Or you could keep your heels on the mat, stretch your legs out in front of you into that extended bridge, gets into the front of your hips and thighs. If you go into that extended bridge, you could flex your ankles. Sometimes this pose is done with the feet up against the wall, encouraging that dorsiflexion, or you could point your toes away, but be mindful of what happens in your back when you do that, if you're in that extended bridge. And notice how your heart sings. What makes your heart sing? Maybe it's being in Paris in April in Paris, as opposed to April wherever you are. Wheel pose is lower down to bridge with your arms overhead. Bridge pose is bend your knees, remove your support, reach your arms overhead. As you inhale, come up to your tippy toes. As you exhale, slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time. Once your hips are on the mat, gently, mindfully windshield wiper your knees. Prenatal variation is to roll to the left to sit up, coming into a kneeling pose if that's accessible to you. Everyone else, you can roll over or bring your hands to your bottom, slide your fingers up to the creases in your knees, and just like a child in a swing, rock up and back 5 or 6 times. Angle your body so you tap each corner of the mat at least once with both feet. And then after that 5th or 6th rock, I'm going to recommend coming into hero's pose or virasana. So hero's pose, you come to your knees with your knees and ankles the same distance apart, toes curled under behind you, sitting on your heels or a prop between your heels. For hero's pose, knees together, feet apart with the toes pointed back, sitting on the floor or a prop between your ankles. Either way, sit up nice and tall, spreading your toes wide no matter which variation you're in. And notice how this feels through your legs, through your calves, through your shins, through your ankles and your feet. Take a deep breath in, press down, lift up. As you exhale, rotate your upper body to the right. Right hand behind your hips, left hand outside of your right thigh. As you inhale, lift your right arm up so the right palm faces in the same direction as your heart. Gaze over your right thumb for a moment, or as close as you're able. You can stay here gazing over your right shoulder, or as you inhale. So keep that right elbow, wrist in line with the shoulder. So the arm is parallel with the heart, just extending open to the right. So you twist to the right, and then your right arm goes back behind you. Yep. And then you can keep your chin over your right shoulder, or as you inhale, bring your chin to center. And as you exhale, you can gaze over your left shoulder. Press the arms away from each other. So that left arm is pressing into your leg to encourage the twist. And that right arm is starting to reach towards the left space behind you. Make sure the right thumb is up. Shoulders down your back, right? Move from your collarbone. Take one more inhale. Next time you exhale, relax the right arm down. Inhale back to center. Exhale, rotate to the left. Left hand behind your hips, right hand outside of your left thigh, bracing yourself as you twist and rinse. Next time you inhale, straighten your left arm back behind you. Left thumb is up. So again, rotate from the collarbone so you also get into your pecs a little bit. Gazing over your left shoulder, take a deep breath in. You can stay here, shoulders down your back as you exhale, or next time you inhale, bring your chin over your chest. And as you exhale, gaze over your right shoulder. So lift your heart up, press the arms away from each other. This is one of those poses it's nice to do braced up against a wall, or if you're not pregnant, you could do it on the floor. Sometimes we do it on the floor. And sometimes we need that extra bit of facilitation, whether it's using the props, having someone support us, like all those people that supported Ella Fitzgerald, or maybe it's like if you were doing adaptive yoga at Mind Body Solutions or with Mind Body Solutions, and you had someone else, a partner, facilitating your practice. Next time you exhale, relax your left arm down. Inhale back to center. As you exhale, hug your knees into your armpits. Give them a little squeeze. Prenatal variation is to keep the knees apart. Everyone else, bring your knees together. Forehead into your knees with your arms wrapped around your legs. Just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. Ella Fitzgerald said that in talking about singing one of her mother's favorite songs at the Apollo, she said, once up there, I felt the acceptance and love from my audience. I knew I wanted to sing before people the rest of my life. Because remember, the Apollo audience was and continues to be very critical and very vocal, but they're just as vocal when they love someone. Take a deep breath in, look up, open your mouth, sigh it out. Look down, take a deep breath in, look up, open your mouth, sigh it out. Look down, take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Look up, open your mouth, and sigh it out. Just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. If you want to finish the practice in a pose other than Shavasana, do what you do. Everyone else, very mindfully, lower down to your back. Remember, if you're pregnant, you always have the option to curl up on your left side with a little cushion under your head and between your legs. Everyone else, as you inhale, stretch out one leg, doesn't matter which one. Exhale, let that leg relax. Inhale, stretch out the other leg. Exhale, let that leg relax. Take a moment to get rid of your physical fidgets so your body can be still. And then so your mind can be quiet. Fix your gaze on something that's not moving, whether it's your third eye, the space between your eyebrows, about an inch into your forehead, half an inch above there, or your heart center, or the tip of your nose. And just take a moment to be here. Allow yourself to be supported here. Supported by the floor, the mat, the chair, the props. Supported by your practice and supported by your breath. That symbol of your spirit, that symbol of your life force. In Fear, Essential Wisdom for Getting Through the Storm, Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, we are very afraid of being powerless, but we have the power to look deeply at our fears, and then fear cannot control us. We can transform our fear. Fear keeps us focused on the past or worried about the future. If we can acknowledge our fear, we can realize that right now we are okay. Right now, today, we are still alive and our bodies are working marvelously. Our eyes can still see the beautiful sky. Our ears can still hear the voices of our loved ones. Take a moment to listen. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. If you'd like to be guided out of your final pose, reawaken your body. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep open mouth sigh. Deep breath in through your nose. Deep sigh out. Gently rock your head side to side. Gently bring motion to your fingers and toes. Being mindful of the space around you, inhale your arms overhead and take a full body stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. Walk your feet in towards your seat, extending through your low back. Prenatal variation is to roll to the left. Everyone else roll to the right. And just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. And then when you're ready, use the strength of your arms to press up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes closed if that's comfortable for you. Hands together at heart center. Take a moment to rub your palms together, create a little heat, a little energy, a little awareness. And then bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, and soak up that heat, that energy, that awareness. You can take your hands to any other part of your being, any other part of your body that needs a little extra heat, a little energy, a little extra awareness, a little more fearlessness. And then shake out your hands and we'll seal in the practice. You can bring your hands back together at heart center or switch which hand is at your heart, which hand is your belly. So despite some really divine encounters with a couple of people affiliated with the band circus nonprofit adventure that is Wookie Foot, I'd never heard the song or the album, Be Fearless and Play, until today in 2021. But the song, Be Fearless and Play, and the lyrics from the song and the liner notes really fit the overall philosophy of being fearless. In the song, it says, be fearless and play. You could live for tomorrow and still live here in today. When I would play when I was a child, I swore that I would never forget. No, I will never forget. No, be fearless and play. This is one thing that no one can ever take away. And in the liner notes, they explain, this is based on a true story. While hiking in the hills of Rishikesh in India, we encountered a holy man who approached with light in his eyes and love in his heart, just beaming with inspiration. He spoke as if he were channeling the divinity ever present in that wonderful country and spoke these words. Light of sun in the sky sends the message, be fearless and play. We were fascinated and inspired by his simple but insightful words. I'm inspired, and I hope you are too. Not only to be fearless and play, but I may be asking also to kiss my asana. As you inhale, lift your thumbs to your third eye, and as you exhale, bow forward. Namaste. Thank you all very much. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please let me know. Drink a lot of water. Have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week. Many blessings to you all. Yes, it is the Kiss My Asana yogathon. It started on Saturday, but there's still time to play and kiss. And if you want to turn on your mic, you can say namaste. Thank you.